From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a huge day as the producer price index number was released before sunrise, and much like the CPI from last Friday, it shows that inflation's going higher. And with inflation going higher, analysts now believe the Federal Reserve will not just do a three-quarter base increase tomorrow, but actually consecutive ones. Why is the Federal Reserve coming in so strong? And why is a recession looking so bleak? Yes, a recession's around the corner, and the downward spiral of this economy, with unemployment surging and new layoffs announced today, and troubling data on all the major economic sectors, signals the downward spiral of this economy is upon us, and that is the landscape of news today. But the great news is that there's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You can't wait for anything to erupt in phase 2 of what I call September. You got to get these checks now in phase 1, as a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and the downward spiral of this economy between now and September will be very blunt, as those three-quarter basis point increases from the Federal Reserve are heating up news today. Step 1, become a member. Go right in this video right this minute and become a member and get the newsletter. The newsletter everyone is talking about that has big checks in there. Forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state, upwards of $80,000. Single, married, without children, with children, on benefits. SSI, SSDI. Get those incredible checks and stay with me in the second half of the recording. We will go over those incredible checks. But as we start a new day for June 14th, 2022, we know that going into tomorrow, June 15th, Federal Reserve is doing a three-quarter basis point increase. A rise up from that quarter, then to that half, now three quarters in just a few weeks. But analysts now believe there will be consecutive three-quarter rate increases. Whoa. We'll go over the latest details on that in today's recording, plus more layoffs announced, major layoffs, as the crypto industry is losing its shirt, its pants, and yes, its shoes. And that industry is getting a hit like you've never seen before. The downward spiral of this economy is upon us, and there's so many issues that go over. We have a lot to go over in today's recording. It's America's most loved show at the midday. It's Afternoons, and it starts right now. And good afternoon, everybody. It is June 14th, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good afternoon for a breaking news, brand new report on the minute, on the hour for Afternoons LA. A lot of details to go over. The great news is that there's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. We're going to get those checks later in this recording. Stay with me. Step 1, become a member. Go right in this video right now and join the channel that is delivering you the breaking financial news, tell you where this economy is going before anyone else does, and getting you the checks. We're going to go over all those incredible checks later in this recording. But first, let's go over the data that happened today. And also, let me tell you what's also coming up later in this recording. If you missed it last night on Evenings LA, your SS300 is reality. Whoa. Yes, your SS300 is reality. They're going to raise your benefits up $200 a month on average, and it's confirmed. Oh, boy, I have that data point later in this recording. Stay with me. It's coming up in just a second. This is what I call phase 1 of this economy. Phase 2 I call September, and phase 3 I call January. Phase 1 is going to be very, very difficult on the American people because we're going to move from a booming economy in January, February to a very, very bad economy in September. It's a very short period of time, and that very short period of time is going to whiplash a lot of people who don't see it coming. And among the people who did not see it coming are the people who thought they had job security. We talked about the importance of getting this fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state back in the month of March, when you and I, as the eyes and ears of the American people, saw people were being laid off. People were being laid off, and yet it was not reflecting in the economic data. We have those new jobless claims released every Thursday morning, and we're going to see 240,000 again, I predict, this week. We're going to see unemployment surge after last week it surged. It's surging to levels it should not be at, and why is that happening? Because the industries are not doing well. And here is what you need to know. You need to get the stimulus right now, because the announcement that the economy is bad comes after the fact that it's bad. It's actually worse first, and then they announce it's bad later, because we don't see the elements coming in. It started a month ago when Walmart announced that it had too many store employees on the floor. That's the type of language you use when you're about to lay people off. But we hadn't had corporate layoffs at the time. You and I discussed it. I said, do you see less people in the stores? If you're on the live chat right now for June 14th, 2022, say if you see less people working in the stores, yes or no. And the answer is yes. That's what we've been talking about for a while. But we didn't see it in the corporate announcements until that first Saturday before Memorial Day weekend, when Tesla announced 10% of its U.S. labor workforce laid off, and then also announced a hiring freeze. Now, hiring freeze is significant because that's worse than just layoffs. That's the type of language you hear during a recession. Then yesterday, Tesla announced that its Singapore operations were laying people off. Here's breaking news today, and this shocked some people, but shouldn't shock you and I, because I've been telling you about this. We've been talking about this as a family for a few months. We knew this was coming. The announcement came from Coinbase, which is a major techno firm, and of course it's publicly traded, covered on this channel. It is cutting 18% of its workforce. 18% of its, nearly 20% of its workforce is being laid off today. That is significant, folks. That is significant. Number one. Number two, it says that there's going to be a hiring freeze. Number two. Number three, it says that there's a recession definitely coming. And number four, it says the crypto industry is hitting them like they've never seen before. The crypto crash. We appear to be entering a recession after a 10-year economic boom. While it's hard to predict the economy, the markets, we always prefer for the worst so that we operate the business through any environment. Good move. That's by its head, Brian Armstrong, CEO. Good move. He's preparing accordingly ahead of the time. Now, here's what you need to know, what you need to tell your friends and family to come on over and watch this channel. There's going to be, at the start of phase 2, a massive stimulus stampede when millions of Americans are going to react like how they reacted at the start of the pandemic. In March of 2020, you remember what happened? You were announced to go on lockdown, and suddenly you were not able to prepare. No one saw this coming. Why am I going on lockdown? What does this mean? Suddenly, you were worried about losing your home, your car, your business, your livelihood, and people were looking left and right for stimulus. And thank goodness there was a lot of it, and you found me. That's going to happen in September. The good news that you're watching this show today on June 14th is I've been preparing this for you since last year, and I've been preparing for it very severely since February of this year, and I'm hitting it really hard today again on June 14th. In September, it's going to look like the very first days of March 2020, when millions of Americans are going on a lockdown and they're running left and right to find stimulus. The only difference with you is that there's money right now. And you can prepare months ahead of time. So you have June, July, August, and September, and half of September to prepare before phase 2 starts, and it's going to be horrific. What's going to happen? First, unemployment. People are going to be unemployed. So if you have friends and family that have job security right now, remind them that those jobs may not be there. And what's going to happen? There is no FPUC. That's $600 a one on top of your existing benefits per week if you're unemployed. There's no PUA if you're unemployed and you're a W-2 employee. There's no extended weeks of benefits, PEUC. These items don't exist anymore, and they're never going to come back, in my opinion. They don't exist, and they're not coming back. That's why you get these forced stimulus checks that are in every U.S. state. The day started with other economic data, and it was bad again, just what you expected. Last Friday, we had the CPI. Today, we had the PPI. The CPI is the Consumer Price Index number. The PPI is the Producer Price Index number. And it showed that the producer price, which is the cost of goods that the producer pays wholesale, rose 11% year to date. Ouch. Ouch, that is really hurting. That is huge. The two top line numbers, which are 11.5% for the headline number, and the core, which is the March number, hit at 7.1%. This is the highest levels we'd seen since 1981. You remember what 1981 was? Yeah, Reagan coming in to fix the inflation of Carter. So that is, here we go. This number gauges, of course, how much wholesalers are paying for. And so if wholesalers are paying more for the goods, then guess what? They're obviously charging you more for the goods. This follows on the CPI number that was released last Friday. Now, remember what happened since just Friday to today. It feels like it's been 20 years, doesn't it? From Friday to today, the whole universe turned around. On Friday, the CPI number was released, the Consumer Price Index number, and it came in at 8.5% year to date. It spooked everyone. This is a number for inflation, as PPI is, but CPI is really it's Consumer Price Index, how much you're paying. And your CPI went up from the month before. It was 8.5%. In fact, it showed this is the highest level we've ever seen in the history of this channel. This shows that inflation's not peaked yet. This shows that Wall Street thought inflation was coming down. It's not. This is as the Federal Reserve thought they had gotten inflation to start going down. It had not. So when that announcement came on Friday, the stock market crashed, the housing market crash continued, the auto industry crash continued, and the Federal Reserve scampered quickly to figure out a solution. And that solution is this next FOMC meeting will not be a quarter basis point, will not be a half basis point, which is what most people thought. It's going to be 3/4. Now, let me tell you how quickly this has changed. I mean, just, you gotta watch every video. You gotta go into this video right now and subscribe. You gotta hit that subscribe button because the narrative is changing by the minute, not by the hour. Let me tell you how quickly this has changed. Before the CPI number was released, most people were saying quarter basis point at the June FOMC meeting tomorrow. Well, it starts today, but the announcement's tomorrow. Most people were saying quarter. I was saying half. Some people were saying, other people saying half. And then I was saying half, quarter. Basically, half this meeting, half after that, and the quarter. I mean, really, no one was saying double halves. They were just saying maybe 1/2, and that was it. Well, then that CPI number came out, and then people saying, oh, it's definitely going to be half. It's definitely going to be half tomorrow. Half. They basically said consecutive halves. Last night, after that, after the fear of this downward spiraling economy hit, after the Dow Jones was down 900 points again, or 800 points approximately, on Monday, after it was down 800 points on Friday, people are saying, well, it's definitely going to be 3/4 basis point increase for the Federal Reserve on Wednesday. Well, as we look at it right now, it's gone from 3/4 on Wednesday. That was basically the news last night to potentially likely 3/4 on a Wednesday, 3/4 in July, half basis point in August. No, that's September. I don't think they mean in August. Yeah, they're now saying consecutive 3/4 followed by consecutive halves. If you see how quickly it's changed, you see how quickly it has changed. What do you need to know? What you need to know is that, number one, you got to get this forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You got to get it. I got to tell you, the next 90 days it's really scary. I care for you dramatically. And I got to tell you, the next 90 days is getting scarier by the minute. And I say 90 days, I'm worried it's going to be 9 minutes, 90 minutes. It's the downward spiral, and it's happening so abruptly that this is just ridiculous. Step one, subscribe and become a member. Go right in this video right now and hit that membership link and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Then get those incredible newsletters and newsletter and get those incredible checks in every U.S. state. We're going to go over those checks in just a second. Let me go over why it's so important to get these checks based upon the data that came in today, and the data will be announced tomorrow. Well, that PPI number was absolutely horrible. When you see that the wholesaler who's buying the goods to sell them to you, his or her items went up 11%, or 11.5%, which is the worst we've seen or rise since the Reagan administration. Then the next question is how many people can get laid off? Well, here you go. Another day, another company. Now Coinbase cutting the workforce by 18%. We're not done there yet. What about travel and leisure? If you're new to this channel, I do three things. I tell you the breaking news today. I give you the analysis of where we're going, and then I also get you checks. Viewers are really emphatically applauding and raising their hands and shaking my hand, saying, Ellie, you are really predicting this market really well. You've been doing it for a while now. You've been getting 100% batting average. What is it? 100%, 100 batting average. You're batting 100 on predicting this market day after day, week after week. And guess what I told you last week? I told you that the audio industry is airline industry is going to collapse really quickly, really fast. Why? Because their fuel costs are going up, and that no one is going to pay $500 domestic U.S. Average fare in the United States. You don't have the money. You're running thin on consumer savings. Consumer savings is down. Consumer income is down. You may be laid off. You're worried about the recessionary environment. You're not going to spend money like it's going out of style, and you're not going to pay for something, 300%, 200% more than it was just in January. What happened? I got it right again. The announcement today is that airline travel was down. Bookings are down for the month of May compared to April by about 3%. And they continue. This is the yet another consecutive month where the bookings are down dramatically. While some consumers were able to stomach the higher fares for 1 or 2 trips, the dip in bookings shows that people are reluctant to get their appetite back on a flight. Basically, what they're saying is that, you came out of lockdown, you really had to have one flight. You really owed yourself one celebratory flight to get off of lockdown. I've been on lockdown for 2 years. I just need to take one trip. You took it, and then you're like, I'm not doing $500 a flight again to, Topeka. I'm not doing $500 to, Arkansas. Yeah, it's no offense to Arkansas. It's just not $500 worth. United Airlines announced that international travel rose slightly for just 1 minute, as Joe Biden, by the way, lifted COVID restrictions for international travel. Stocks are down. The Dow is down 830 points yesterday, 830 points the day before. Oil's down. Oil is actually down as well. Tech is down. Retail is down. Treasury yields are out of control. I thought I had that number for today. Maybe I don't have it on camera. The 10-year Treasury note surged out of control on Friday up to 3.2%. That's it's two-year Treasury note. That's the highest level since 2007. It's out of control. But I have another number on that in a second. The other number on that is horrific. Let me tell you everything that's going wrong. Let me tell you everything that's going wrong. So, was your lunch good? Was your lunch good? It was good. Okay, so everything but the lunch went wrong today. Inflation, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Jay Powell's not going to get it done because he does not have the tools to get inflation down. It's being caused by supply chain disruption. At some point, the only reason he's going to get inflation down is he's going to send you into recession. When he sends you into recession, say, I got inflation down. Yeah, it's not. That's what literally what's going to happen. Unemployment's going to go up. Housing crash is going to go in the tank. Housing market crash is going to be so severe, you will not believe it. It is absolutely going to be austere. The auto industry crash is already underway. Travel, and leisure, you see that crash just starting. Stock market crash is just beginning. Stocks was very important, and Leo Cooperman, who's a billionaire investor, very, very smart, he was on Broadcasting News this morning. He said basically the same thing I've been saying, which is we're going down in the stock market, and we're not at the bottom yet. We used to talk about the bottom and the dips and things like that on the crypto show a lot on the channel. We're not there yet. We have a long way down to go. He basically repeated my numbers that in a recession and a bear market, you're going to go down 40%. The markets, not the stocks, the markets, Dow, the NASDAQ. We are only, 20% down. So we have a long way down to go. And the only thing that was different about what he said that I've never said was, when are you going to get to the 40% down? Or actually, I say 47%. He said 40 approximate. It's really 47% down in a recession and a bear market for the stocks, the markets. He believes you won't reach that bottom until at least somewhere in next year. Fascinating. So he thinks we're just going to slowly go down throughout the rest of this year, but we're not going to reach that 40% down this year. That makes sense, because if we're in a 2-year recession, then it's going to really hurt. And I got to tell you, this type of analysis by Cooperman, which repeats mine, is very helpful. I got to tell you why. Because that poll of Americans last Friday believed that we are in a recession now. Everything is very scary about that by those answers by those consumers. This is not you. This is middle America. People are not watching financial news on a regular basis. If they believe we're in a recession now, they think this is as bad as it's going to get. This is not as bad as it's going to get. This is phase one. Let me go over the three phases with you. Phase one is right now. As we slowly change from a good situation in February and March, you had a job, you could ask for a salary raise, you could stick it to the employer, say, I want more money, to now people being laid off. And now uncertainty about what's going on. And suddenly stores are empty. Suddenly people can't get people to shop in the stores. Starbucks yesterday announced that the restaurant industry is taking a tank. It is. I think I talked about this on the channel for a few weeks. Hospitality in Los Angeles is falling apart. You do not see people in restaurants. You do not see people in bars. Hospitality is falling apart. No one's going to drive, 20 miles to have a meal because gasoline is too expensive, even if the meal has not gone up in price. It has gone up in price. The next phase is September. What will September look for you like? September will look like the start of the pandemic, March 2020. The only difference here is you and I. Will have been a community from now through September. I will show you where to get 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You will have gone back and gotten checks on a regular basis. A lot of people in the live chat last night, did you watch it? In the live chat last night saying, I got another $1,400. I got another. The word another was coming up a lot. And it was everything from, 1,400 to 14,000. There were mid-range numbers and big numbers. That's exactly what I want you to do. Keep on getting this numbers. Keep on getting these monies. When September hits, it is going to look just like March 2020. So what's January 2023 going to look like? It's going to be worse than anything that has ever existed in the history of this channel. Of course, this channel started on day one of the pandemic, April 25th, so it was about a month into the pandemic. But this is going to be the recession of 2023. The recession of 2023 is going to be so austere that it's something you see once in a generation. As the Coinbase head says, you have 10 years of economic boom and then you have a recession. Yeah. Now, let me make this clear. Not to pat myself on the back. In February this year, I was the only person saying in broadcast financial news that we're going into recession. No one wanted to even say those words. They were scared to say it, as though if they said it, it would spook their viewers. I said it. And I said we're going into recession for 2 years. And I also used analogies, like there's a storm out to sea and the storm is coming on land. When JP Morgan's Chase Jamie Dimon said the same exact expression 3 months later, he said there's a hurricane down the road. He was asked, is there a recession coming? I don't want to use that word, he said. He specifically said, I don't want to use the word recession because it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. What I need you to know is that recession of 2023 is going to be horrific. It's going to be horrific. And with that, let's go over what the Federal Reserve is going to be doing to potentially send you into recession. The Federal Reserve is going to raise those interest rates again tomorrow. And this is all going to send you into recession. And in sending you recession, they're going to solve inflation because if you have a recession, you may get rid of inflation. Now, let me make this very clear. In a recession, you can also have inflation. That's called stagflation. If you think a recession's bad, stagflation's even worse. The Federal Reserve is going to do a 3/4 basis point increase at that June FOMC meeting tomorrow. Analysts now believe. But let me go further than that. Goldman Sachs now has moved from saying it's going to be a 50 basis point tomorrow to now saying it's going to be 75 tomorrow and then 75 again in July, followed by 50 in September. There's no August meeting. And then 25 in November and December, taking the inflationary number by December to 3.25 to 3.5%. Oh boy, that was a lot of information in just one sentence. Let's go over that. So JP Morgan is saying 3/4 tomorrow. This is June, 3/4 in July. August we're off, not on me, they are. Then in September, half, October, half, and then November, December, quarter. I like that analysis. I think I'm going to agree with that analysis. I think that's exactly correct analysis. Now, where do they say that inflation is going to get by the end of the year? 3.25 to 3 5.5%. Ding, ding, ding. Who was the guy in the purple shirt in February this year that said Jay Powell's never going to get inflation down to 2% later this year? It's going to be 4%. I did. Who was the first to get that confirmation? The Department of Labor and also the CBO confirmed that it was going to be 3.8% inflation by December as well, about a month ago. Now we have in June, 5 months after I reported the same news, my analysis being confirmed by JP Morgan Chase. This is very fascinating because the 8.25 impacts your benefits, and it also impacts world economies. World economies are falling apart today, and this is important for you to know because remember, we have a symbiotic relationship with other countries, and that symbiotic relationship stems from if they go in recession, we go in recession. If we go in recession, they go in recession. So I need you to know what's going on with them because if we're all butterflies and walks in the park, it will turn into a hurricane and a temple of doom overnight if they go into recession before we do. At least 10-year bond yield has rose to 4%. That's the highest level we've seen since 2014. Germany and Italian's economies are falling apart overnight, and that's not alone. Over in the Asian Pacific region, the same thing. The Hang Seng continues to fall. The Japan Nikkei and the South Korea Kopsai continue to fall. The recession is really upon us. What are other banks saying? Morgan Stanley says 50% odds. That was a quote yesterday from its CEO, James Corman. And consumer spending is dramatically down, as you would expect. If anyone's smart, they're not spending a dime now. It's down 9 percentage points from the month before. And consumer confidence fell apart last Friday when that CPI number was released. Americans do not have faith in this economy, and they believe they're going to lose their jobs. 11% now believe they're going to lose their jobs. That's the highest level we've seen of worrisome among polled consumers since January. Now, here's what you need to know. I haven't read this number before, and I see it right now. How many Americans thought they're going to lose their job in February of 2021? So this is sort of like the middle of the pandemic. This is the middle of the pandemic. It's right after the elections. How many Americans thought they were going to lose their job then? 39%. I wonder how many Americans thought they were going to lose their job when the pandemic hit in March of 2020. Probably like 80%. Yeah, so we're 11%. We could go to 36%. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say by September, this number is going to go from 11% fearing they're going to lose their job today to about 40% by September. And then by next year, I think it's going to be, 70% plus. That's why you got to get that fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. The viewership of this channel is so smart because in March they said, LA, go find me some checks. Go find me some checks. I'm just not happy with this economy, LA. You can find us some money. Go get it. And I did. Thank goodness I did. Thank goodness you asked me to. And this money came from two different sources. Executive actions from Joseph Biden and from your states. And there's a fourth stimulus check, lots of them, several checks in every U.S. state. You qualify for the money. As Kat, a longtime viewer, says, you're good, you're great with eligibility. Single individual, $75,000 or less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less annual income, you can get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, and more, you can get it as well. Rent, own, children, without children, every U.S. state. I got a lot of checks, and I've found them since March, and the viewers of this channel have cleaned up upwards of $80,000. Subscribe and become a member during this commercial break. Go right on the video. There's a little button that says subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. And then there's a membership link. Hit that membership link where it says join. Join this channel. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. And stay with me because in the second half of this video, we're going to go over those big checks that are in the members newsletter that comes out Monday through Friday. Become a member, get that incredible newsletter, and stay with me over the second half. We're going to go over all this huge money. It's just getting started, Afternoons LA. We got a lot to go over. And yes, we got that SS300 success story. We need some great news. It's coming up in the big second half. Your benefits are definitely going up. I'll have the data on that, plus your checks in the big second half. We got a lot of money in the big second half. See you back in 60 seconds as America's Most Loved Show at the midday continues. It's Afternoons. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities.
That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now in the big second half of June 14th, 2022. Hope you have a beautiful day. It's Afternoons. And boy, what a day it is. With great news about your benefits checks finally going up. They're going up. SS200, SS300 is a reality. It's coming up in the second half of this video. I'll explain the details to you. It was breaking news yesterday. It was featured in Evenings LA. That's why you can't miss a show. It's America's most watched show in prime time. It's tonight again at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. What do you want to do? You got to get those checks. Step one, go ahead into this video and subscribe. You don't want to miss any breaking news stories on this channel, like that announcement last night. And step two, become a member. Go into the video and join and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP, and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, and get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. And with that, let's get to the incredible great news starting right now. It's important to understand that there's so many things going on with this economy that my narrative changed a few days ago, and viewers are very, very happy about the change of the narrative. The change of the narrative is the following. You can't wait. You can't wait out 90 days, 60 days, 45 days for Build Back Better Act to happen. Because the downward spiral in this economy from phase one, where we're in right now, to phase two in September, is going to be so severe, you may not financially survive it. And the way you do is you get these checks I have for you right now. These checks are for you. And so if you are a single individual who makes $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, go get it. If you rent, you own, you have children, you don't have children, you're young or old, go get it. And with that, we're going to look at all these incredible checks. And remember, I get you big checks. I'm not here for small little puny checks. Ain't gonna work. You need big checks to survive this economy. And here we go. That first check is a $6,500 to $10,000 to a $12,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 or less, you qualify. Married couple, $150,000 less, you qualify. And if you are on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, you qualify. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. And how do you get it? Step one, subscribe to this channel. Step two, become a member. Step three, go into the membership newsletter delivered Monday through Friday and go right down to that check A and pounce and get it. That incredible check A is there. Go get it. And it is absolutely wonderful. In that membership newsletter, it'll give you the link to go right in and apply. You are sent to the national website. You choose your state. Then you choose the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant. And then you pounce and you get the money. But you're not going to stop there yet. No, you're going to go get check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. The average view of this channel is tracking at about $66,000 to $80,000. This is an awesome amount of money. Look how wonderful this money is. $80,000 could financially pay your bills for a year, maybe 2 years, depending on how many people are in the household. That's why I find big checks for you, because the big checks is what works. This is called the Homeowners Grant. And how do you get this wonderful check? Step one, you subscribe. Step two, become a member. Step three, go into the membership newsletter and go down to you find check B. and click the link, go into the national website, go into the state, and apply. Yes, in the case of Check A and Check B, you are applying online. That is how it works. But you're not going to stop there yet. You're going to go get Check C. Check C is astronomically wonderful. It is the check especially for my renters. It is a $2,000 a month over 12-month average check, but many viewers are averaging a lot more money, $45,000. We had a lot of success stories for Check C in last night's live chat. I think we saw almost 3 people in just a few minutes. And this wonderful check is huge. It's for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. How do you get Check C and what is it? Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, go into the membership newsletter. Go down to where it says Check C. And where you see it, it tells you the 15 plus places to call. Yes, you're going to make a lot of calls. What to say, how to say it, and how to get these incredible Check Cs. And that's how you pounce and get these huge checks. Finally, there are some Check Ds in some states. I don't focus too much on those Check Ds because I don't want you to focus on anything that's sort of lazy-like. I need you to get big checks, and Check Ds are not big checks. But how do you, these Check C success stories date back to the very first days of this channel, and you want to get these big sums of money starting right now. We've had so many success stories for these checks, and I'm just so proud of you. And let's go over the messaging a little bit clearer right now. This economy on June 14th, 2022 is not good, but it's absolutely nowhere as bad as it's going to get. This is what I call phase 1. Phase 2, I believe, is September, which is basically then the hitting on the hammer of this economy. It's going to look like the start of the pandemic. By September, we will have had the rate increase hikes of Jay Powell, leading up to today's recording, which haven't done much of anything, so I'm not going to worry about those. But we're going to have tomorrow's hit. Then we're going to have the July. Then we're going to have the September. So by then, you're going to have three-quarter, half. Yeah, that's very severe because, up to now, we've been doing these puny quarter interest rate increases by Jay Powell. You're going to have more unemployment, a higher inflation because it's not going to work what Jay Powell's doing. You're going to have less consumer confidence, less consumer spending, higher consumer costs, housing market, auto industry, travel, and lots of other industries like hospitality and leisure are all going to really take a tank. And that's why between now and September, you're going to say, wait, that changed really quickly. This economy looks sort of good in February of 2022. How did it change so quickly from February to September? And you know what happens after September? Cold months. Cold months come on in. Cold weather. And you got that heating oil bill in November, December. All those horrible utility bills start in the winter. And guess what's going to happen then? By January of next year, you will be in a recession. With a recession, you see stocks go down 48%, they're only down 20%. That is why you can't wait for any money that's available at all. The Build Back Better Act is going to get done, the analysts believe, and the Build Back Better Act would get done before the midterm elections. But I can't have you wait for it. I can't have you wait for it, whatever is in there or whatever's going on, because between now and September, it's going to be a bad downward spiral. Now, amidst all that, I have some really good news, great news, historic news. The historic news dates back to the earliest days of 2021. It may have been a little bit in 2020, but it's really 2021. In 2021, Elizabeth Warren was running for president of the United States, and she proposed to reform the Social Security Administration system so that you would get more benefits because she thought you were not getting enough benefits because of COVID. She was right. Because of COVID, your checks were not going up. Well, while COVID was going on, your checks were not going up, and they should have because of COVID, but they weren't. We had a lot of legislators talk about giving more money to beneficiaries, and then Liz Warren withdrew from her run for president of the United States. Joe Biden continued his run for president. He adopted her platform officially, and he said, I'll do her platform. Then when he became president, he says, I will do her platform. And in doing her platform, it's published at joebiden.com, which involved reforming Social Security, removing the asset cap and the marriage penalty income cap, swapping COLA to inflation, which would raise your benefits up a lot, And by the time that announcement came in, I said, this really has to go by reconciliation, because I don't believe all these provisions will pass muster with the Republicans. But what became very apparent, that became the advocacy of this channel, is that the president can swap COLA for inflation, one of the provisions, without an act of Congress. How the Social Security Administration head spends money on you is determined by them, not by Congress. Benchmarks is determined by them, not by Congress. And so you don't need an act of Congress to change swapping COLA to inflation. Over the last, what has it been, a year, we talked about swapping COLA for inflation and how it'd be good that if inflation was 8% and the swap happened then, you'd raise your benefits up $200 a month. Not just then, not just that year, but lifetime. And then they get reassessed again every December. Well, here comes the breaking news. The breaking news is that while over the last 5 months, I've said that inflation is going to track at 4% by the end of the year, that would raise your benefits up another $100. And if Joe Biden made that swap from COLA to inflation today, you'd get $200. That's a total of $300. The analysis that came in the last 24 to 48 hours that was featured last night on Evenings LALATE shows that based upon current elements of this economy, the numbers by December will give you a $300 increase across the board. And this is not confirmed by analysts. It's confirmed by the Social Security Administration head. In a series of new comments, the Social Security Administration head says that if the economy stays the way it is on currently track, not worse, it could get worse, I'm saying it's going to get worse, not worse, then your benefits would go up 8% year to date starting next year. This is astronomically incredible, great news. Let me tell you what's going on. Your benefits are assessed based upon a benchmark every December. And that benchmark every December is COLA, currently under the law. COLA is not as good a number as inflation. So that's why Liz Warren and Joe Biden wants to swap it for COLA to inflation. COLA last year was at 5.8%. That's why your benefits went up 5%. While inflation was a lot higher, you should have gone up 8%. But when I record COLA versus inflation, I'm doing a very paraphrased version of it. I'm making it simplistic for you. It's a little bit more complicated, of which I'm going to do right now. In swapping COLA for inflation, the inflation part is really not just pure inflation. It's actually a division, a subsection of that consumer price index number released last Friday. Last Friday, the CPI was released, the CPI. And when we talk about swapping COLA for inflation, we're really talking about swapping COLA for a different subsection of CPI. Let me tell you what's going on. Your current COLA is a number that comes from a subsection, a different subsection of CPI, which is called the CPI-W. So far? You follow with me so far? Your benefits every December are swapped, are dependent upon a benchmark called COLA. But where does that COLA number come from? CPI-W. That number, without changing anything, without a swapping of the law, without doing a new bill in Congress, without anything, the Social Security Administration Chief Actuary Stephen Gross said yesterday that based upon where COLA is right now, which is derived from the CPI-W, it will come in close to 8% in December. That means your benefits will go up 8% next year, a lifetime. That's on top of the benefit that they already got. Now, based upon, he is running the numbers the following. He's taking today's numbers and he's extrapolating them out to July, August, and September. Why is he doing that? Because the way they determine what your COLA number is not based upon today, not based upon December. It's actually based upon what COLA is tracking in July, August, and September. So he's looking at the data today of this economy and saying, what would COLA be in July, August, and September? And he says, based upon what I'm looking at now, I believe it's going to be 8%. Here's what's interesting. The Senior Citizens League of America which is a nonpartisan group, says based upon they're looking at the data right now, they believe in July, August, and September, it's not going to be 8%, it's going to be 8.6%. Now, that's based upon today. If it's worse, the number's going to be higher. What's my prediction? My prediction is the economy is going to be worse, that people are misguiding how bad it's going to be, and that the July, August, and September numbers that make up the current COLA will not be 8, will not be 8.6%. I believe they'll be closer to 9%. Yeah, I think your benefits are going to go up about 9%. Now, the good news doesn't stop there. There's also push underway by Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren, and other legislators who have introduced not one, but 2 bills in the last 24 hours. These are bills to do fifth stimulus. These are fifth stimulus bills. Remember, fifth stimulus bills were to swap COLA for inflation. Now, you may say to me, if you're smart, you say, but wait a second, they don't have to do that by bill. The president can do it by executive action. Obviously, they think the president's dragging his feet on this one, or they want to get his attention. So Liz Warren and Bernie Sanders introduced their bill on Thursday, which is the Social Security Administration Expansion Act. And then another guy, John Larson, introduced his bill, which is called the Social Security 2100 Act. All of those do the same thing. They swap COLA's number, which is dependent currently on CPI-W, to CPIE, which is basically like inflation. Wow. So wait a second. This is a lot of great news to digest in whole. Let me tell you how this would calculate out for you. Your benefits went up last December. Okay, so you're getting more money per month right now than you were getting before. This raise in December would go on top of how much you have already been raised up. It's great. And then if this bodies of legislation by Liz Warren or Liz Warren or Bernie or any of these people become law at any date in the future, then you get raised up again. They're just not stopping with these raises. It's wonderful. So the reality of that SS200, that reality of the SS300 is happening. It's happening, as the Social Security Administration head confirms that it's happening because the economy is the way it is right now. It's definitely happening under existing law without Bernie's bill, without Liz Warren's bill. And it's going to raise your benefits up about 8% starting next year, January 1. Now, they may go up a higher. This League of Their Own, that's the movie. The senior... Madonna says Gina Davis. Gina Davis and Madonna are not doing your stimulus today. The senior league says your benefits are going. If you didn't yourself to watch the movie, go watch it. Go watch it. Wonderful theme song as well. The benefits will be going up 8.6%. They think based upon the numbers, but I think it's going to be more closer to 9% because the economy is going to be a lot worse by June, July, and August. And there you go. Tonight on Evenings LA, we got a lot of other financial data to go over and a lot of other checks to go over. I want you to promise yourself 3 things. 1, go under this video and subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button right now. You can't miss this channel. Tell people to come on over. Tell people to come on over. Your friends, your neighbors, say, this is the channel that guided me through this economy. This is a channel that told me where this economy is going before it happened. This is the channel that predicted a recession, predicted inflation, predicted what Jay Powell's going to do, predicted the unemployment, predicted the layoffs. He predicted everything, and he predicted months in advance before anyone else said it. He gets it really right, and I need that because I need to know ahead of time what my dollar bill is going to be worth and prepare accordingly for my family. Tell your friends and family, come on over. Next, hit that membership link. Go into the video and become a proud Purple Hawk. Become a proud member of the Purple Power community. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. And get that beautiful emoji behind your name. And step 3, watch tonight on Evenings LA. I'll see you tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's a brand new show, and it's a doozy. We got a lot going over, and it's the countdown to the Jay Powell announcement tomorrow when he does his comedy show. And with that, stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon, and stay cool. I know it's very, very hot. Pray for the people ravaged by the fires in the Southwest. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.